What? He's staring at me again, winking at his, isn't he? The little sausage. Sausagey duck. So hello. Today, I'd like to take a look at one of my most favourite films ever. A real peach of a movie. It's called Withnail and I. And, well, you can read it for yourself. There it goes. Well, it's about two out-of-work resting actors who decide to take a break from their heinous London, well, their tedious London life, freezing, in Camden Town, and go up, get the jag fixed up, as it was, as they say, and they head up north to the Lake District, where they have even more trouble. They effectively, Withnail, who's this chap, played by Richard E. Grant, brilliantly played by him, and I, who's Paul McGann, played brilliantly by Paul McGann. Withnail has this uncle who is he's a homosexual and he's very predatory, in the sense of, and so he has this. He's a rich fellow that lives in Chelsea sort of thing. And he has this cottage, and so they acquire the keys to the cottage, as it were. This was a box set, by the way. It's brilliant. It's got a film score, music. The music is wonderful as well. Highly recommend this film. Honestly, if you've never seen it, I presume a lot of people will have seen it. But if you never have, then my goodness me, you should watch it, because it's just packed with comedy. It was made by George Harrison's film company, which for now I've forgotten the name of. Well, that's not good, is it? Handmade. There it is. Handmade Films. Was George Harrison was one of the directors of that, and it's brilliantly done. Dennis O'Brien was another producer. He hated the film. He thought it was rubbish, and there was a massive row with the director Bruce Robinson, who wrote it. There's the actual script, which is brilliant. Bruce Robinson is a brilliant film director. He Fat Man and Little Boy. He did the movie about the atomic bombs. He did How to Get Ahead in Advertising. He's done a plethora of wonderful stuff. And this is the actual script, as I say, to Withnail, as well as Marwood is the character I. That's right. His name is Marwood. Although it's never actually mentioned in the film, but he's called him Marwood in the script. As I say, I demand to have some booze. That's one of the catchphrases. This is probably the most quoted film. It's a B movie. It was a B movie. What are you talking about, though, Chicklebug? You're squeaking. What are you talking about, though? He says, you're talking, so I can talk too, innit? But ultimately, it was brilliant. And this was a box set that was, I think, it was 20th anniversary edition DVD box set. But I had the video. I've got it upstairs somewhere. So this was a book written by the actor Richard E. Grant, which covers the making of the film. This is actually a still from his other one of his other many starring roles, How to Get Ahead in Advertising. But for some reason he's utilised it there for this particular book. So there's the information you'll need if you want to get yourself a copy. So I'll go into check out the photos. They had great fun making this film, although it nearly came to blows because, as I say, Dennis O'Brien didn't like the producer Bruce Robinson, the director. Producer Dennis O'Brien didn't like the director Bruce Robinson, and Bruce nearly walked out of the place because he said, "Sod it, I'm not having you manipulating my film. It's my movie." The reason being was because Bruce went to the Central School of Speech and Drama, which is now called the Royal Central School in London. I think it's in Swiss Cottage. It's an acting school, along with a chap called David Dundas, who was actually Lord Dundas, and he did the music for the movie. And another chap called Vivian Mackerel, who I'll talk about in just a tick. But That's Vivian there, and they were drama students together, and they all did rather well actually. Well, Vivian did less well well. David sort of went into music, but Bruce did very well as an actor, but eventually became a director. This guy is hilarious. He's unfortunately passed now. Richard Griffiths plays the homosexual predatory uncle, and he's genius at it. I mean, he's absolutely genius. You've got to watch the movie to fully appreciate the hilarity of the whole thing. These are, I think, just sort of various different stills with Richard E. Grant doing his thing, because he's obviously very famous now, as you probably have seen him in movies all over the place. But this particular book is, he's in I think it was Pret-a-Porter or something like that. But so that's not very pertinent to what I'm talking about. But it's a good book, Withnails. It's the film diaries of Richard E. Grant, and it obviously does cover a lot of Withnail. And Steve Martin has said, you'll laugh, you'll cry, especially if you're in the book like I am. High praise indeed from Steve there, bless him. So this is another good book by Maisie Robson. Well, there's my surname, so that's interesting, isn't it? But no relation. But Withnail and the Romantic Imagination and a Eulogy. This cottage actually exists. The cottage that was for the set of the film actually does exist. It's in a place called Wetsleddle. Excuse me, I've got the wind. He basically has been bought by a rich entrepreneur who's restored it, and he wants to live in it. I mean, it's all good, baby. It's all good. I don't know if there are photos. There are photos. They're black and whites, but it's a good book. About this book, the cult film Withnail and I continues to fascinate and intrigue. I agree. I totally agree. And ultimately, it's a genius. It's a work of genius. I don't think that it was very successful in the box office, in actual fact. But at the time, when it came out, which was about 1985 or 86, video was killing the radio star. And of course, it became a cult film on video. And I remember watching it, courtesy of a friend of mine, and I just laughed my head off. It's black comedy, obviously. I just laughing my head off. Another great book, Withnail and I, by Thomas Hewitt McManus, even. Sorry. Excuse me. Ralph Brown plays the part of Danny, and Danny is like this drugged out hippie in the movie, and he's hilarious again. He's just so funny, it's unbelievable. He's got a line, I remember, he goes, "Here are your aerials, man. They transmit messages from the cosmos directly into your brain. That is why all bald-headed men are uptight." What? Hilariously funny bloke, but well, the character anyway. But that's another thing. But so the real Withnail was a bloke called Vivian Mackerel, and he was, as I say, a drama student. He was of mild success. He was in movies. He did a couple of them at least, and well, I can't read that out. But sadly, Vivian suffered pharyngeal cancer or something horrible like that, so they had to cut his voice out. So he eventually became a mute, which is not fun, is it? Even if you're not an actor. But oh, awful is all I can say. What's that? There he is. There he was a bit of a, well, the trouble with Viv was that, as they used to call him, was he used to like his booze, and of course that probably alleviated the cancer to get out his throat, you know. 1 Cecil Street was where he lived when he was sort of, you know, a mildly successful actor. Somewhere up in the Midlands, I think he lived. And this book is written by a chap called Colin Bacon, who knew Viv when he was living up in the Midlands, wherever he was. It's probably there. No, it's not, actually. But it's in the book. I can highly recommend them all. And it's a goodly array of books. But do watch the film. If you can get hold of a copy, do watch it. You'll laugh. You'll find it hilariously funny. It's possibly the most quoted British B movie of ever. I mean, there are stories. Paul McGann. One of the biggest quotes is, you know, from Withnail is, we've come on holiday by mistake. You know, they're so desperate because they get up to this cottage and it's a virtual, you know, ruin sort of thing, and there's no heating, and they have to smash chairs and furniture to heat it up, and they have to befriend a local farmer to get a chicken, you know, which is another. I won't spoil the film for you by describing the entire plot, but there's a very funny bit with the chicken, and basically Paul McGann said at one time, the actor himself went to somewhere like Portugal once on holiday with his wife and children, and a headless voice out of nowhere said, "Have you come on holiday by mistake?" You know, so they're obviously very famous people. And actually, thanks to my first wife, I used to bump into this chap all the time. He's very tall. He's actually taller than me. I'm tall, and he's even taller. Richard E. Grant is a very tall bloke. He used to live in Richmond in those days. His wife was a casting director. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But he's a very pleasant bloke, and I used to chat to him. I used to keep bumping into him. I met him at Pinewood Studios through my first wife, and I used to just keep bumping into him the whole time on Richmond Station. He used to say to me, "Are you stalking me?" Of course, he was joking because I wasn't. I was just doing my own thing, innit? But yeah, so there you go. Anyway, I hope you found this of some interest. And as I say, please, if you can, just grab yourselves a viewing of this film, because it is just absolutely hilarious. My all-time favourite British movie ever. I'll leave you on Jimmy, who seems to have kind of gone into a sort of relapse or something. Jimmy, you all right, mate? Funny little dog. All the very best wishes, as always. And if you've got this far, thank you very much. I thank you very much. Cheers.